if I told you your favorite perfume is disappearing faster than it should because of small mistakes you didn't even know you were making? Most women over the age of 50 spend good money on fragrances, and a lot of them fade within hours. The good news, you can change that today. I used to spritz my favorite signature, do we all have a signature? I think we do, a signature perfume. I used to spritz my favorite signature perfume and just walk through it. I used to put it on my clothes. I used to just have it be part of me entering the room before I even got there. In fact, I'll tell you a funny story. One of my kids, when they were little, when their friends would come over, and when kids are little, they run and they give you big hugs. Well, these kids would come, and I would come from work, and they would give me this big hug, and they'd fall like right into the center of either my chest or my stomach, and I'm giving them a hug, like so happy to see them. And a lot of them would notice if I ever changed my perfume, if I wasn't wearing perfume, if the perfume no longer smelled good. And kids, they'll say anything. And it didn't strike me until years later that, honestly, your perfume is almost like your thumbprint or your signature style or your signature color. Sometimes it precedes you when you enter the room. I don't know if you guys feel that way, but I do. Most people get a few things wrong. They assume perfume is gonna last all darn day. Like all darn day. And have you ever come up to somebody who the perfume smelled one way in the morning and then different midday, and then as it was trailing off smelled completely different, or mixed, honestly, with their body chemistry differently, or maybe even mixed with what they ate differently. I had a roommate in college who had a signature Coco Mademoiselle back in the day, in the 80s. She was a Coco Mademoiselle girl. It was great until she had pasta with a lot of garlic. And then I have to tell you, the Coco Mademoiselle smelled terrible. Like literally like body odor. And she spent like all of her money. I think she worked at maybe Bennigan's and maybe at the school and maybe in the library, and all of her money she would spend on this Coco Mademoiselle. And literally it wasn't doing her any favors. Perfumes fade fast. It's just a reality, and they cost more and more. And we're finding some of them aren't really that good for you, healthy for you, not good for your skin, all the other things. Some of the things that we do is we put perfume on our dry skin. And if you put perfume on your dry skin, it just kind of fades away. If your skin isn't moist and ready for it, I don't know about you, but sometimes when I'm racing out the door and I forget my moisture and I spray the perfume, or if I've just come in from the sun and maybe I've had a little too much sun and I spray perfume and the alcohol just kind of goes kind of makes your skin even more dry. Rubbing your wrists together. I don't know if you guys do that, but that's something my mom always taught me. I'm trying to think of my mom's signature fragrance. She was like, do you remember back in the day when it was like Jean Naté? Like that could have been my mom's signature fragrance. But she would spray it and then she'd rub and then she'd rub and then she'd rub and rub and rub and rub. And actually what that does chemically is it breaks down the fragrance. So you're not doing yourself any favors spraying it on your dry skin straight out of the shower, or your sunburned skin where the alcohol can hurt you, or rubbing it together. You're not doing it wrong because you don't care. You're doing it wrong, honestly, because no one perhaps ever taught you. One of the things my girls, and for you guys that have followed us for a while, I have 3 daughters and Mark has 3 sons, and one of the things my 3 girls always say to me was like makeup, perfume, the kind of girly things in life. I guess I didn't focus enough on for them when they were little because maybe I just really didn't know a lot about them. Uh-oh, Ruby's gonna attack the neighbor. So what is it that you can do? Let's think of a new perspective on perfume. Let's think of how the perfume should work for you. And let's think about what types of perfume you guys like. I thought it'd be kind of fun to show you. I have different perfumes for my different moods. So stay to the end and we can talk a little bit about that. The first thing you want to do, and I've got maybe 8 tips about perfume that I've kind of worked through and perfected. First thing is start with your hydrated skin. I think I already told you that. I don't know if you're listening, but start with hydrated skin. Use some unscented lotion. It's not that hard to find anymore, especially if you use the Yuka app. You can find good lotions that don't have a lot of scents. Unscented lotion on first because you don't want a scented lotion. Again, I go back to my mom. My mom always used Jergens. She was a Jergens girl and then the Jean Naté. And honestly, the 2 fragrances would kind of fight each other a little bit. So you want to be careful and make sure you hydrate your skin because your hydrated skin will hold the fragrance better. The next thing you want to do is apply it to your pulse points. So anywhere that you know, that you've seen, that you can feel, there's pulse points in your body. That's where you want to apply. So apply it up here around your neck. You want to apply it around behind your ears where you have pulse points. You want to apply it in your inner elbows where you have pulse points. Think of all the places where people have taken your pulse over the years and apply it there. You want to layer your fragrance. So you want to kind of match, if possible, and I know a lot of perfumes come in sets, so I know it's possible. But it's interesting to match, like I use my signature perfume is Issey de Miyake, and I love Issey de Miyake. And when I can, I buy the set. So I buy the soap, the hydrating lotion, and the perfume, so that it's layered throughout my get ready time. I'm layering my perfume. The other thing I would tell you is, and maybe you know people like this. Don't overdo it. Perfume should be subtle. It should be something that you can smell. It should be something that others can smell if they get close to you. It shouldn't be something that competes with the smell of your hairspray, the smell of your lotion, the smell of your shampoo, the smell of some of the other things that you put on your body. So it should be something you don't overdo, and I always worry, and I don't know if this happens to you, we have a great little cafe down here on Marco Island called Ori's, and I walked in one day, and I think it was maybe around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I thought, you know what, I'm gonna grab a coffee and then keep going. So I walk in, I showered at maybe 8 o'clock in the morning, so my perfume went on maybe at 8:15 in the morning. And I walked in and the person behind the counter said, "Wow, what perfume are you wearing?" I thought to myself, oh shit. Do I have a lot of perfume on? And I said to them, is it overwhelming? No, it smells great. But honestly, it made me pause and wonder, did I put too much on? And that was back when I think I was not only putting it on my wrist and walking through it in a mist and having it on my clothes, it was before I really got intentional about where I was putting it. So don't overdo it. And you know when you overdo it, so just don't overdo it. It's important to store your perfume properly. And I never really thought about this. When I was growing up, I had, we had a shared bathroom. We had 1 bathroom, 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom in our house. And my mom and I had this one little window. So it was actually a window. And I would put my perfumes on one side and she would have her Jean Naté on the other side. And that meant direct light was coming in. It was in the heat all day, every day. And that will actually chemically change the way the perfume's gonna smell. It's gonna change how it smells on you. A lot of us leave our perfumes out on countertops or in the bathroom on countertops, or, I know if you look at my sink, to the right of my sink, let's see, I have my Issey de Miyake. At night after the shower, for some reason, I love a good Jo Malone, and when I sleep, I don't know, I just spray a little Jo Malone on me and I love the way it smells. Sometimes if I'm being really active, I use this Dolce & Gabbana light blue. Why? Because it's not my signature, but it's more sporty, maybe, I feel. Recently, because I have been using the Yuka app and I am trying to get better about chemicals, I found this stuff called Salt and Stone, right? So next to the right side of my sink in the bathroom, on the counter, you'll see all these things. I did run into trouble one time. I don't know if this ever happened to you, but I was at the airport, I went through security, realized in my carry-on, realized I didn't have any perfume for the weekend and I was going away. So I stopped and bought this Yves Saint Laurent. I don't even know what it's called, but I bought it. I thought it smelled good. I got to my destination, and as you can see, it's still pretty full. Doesn't smell very good on me, but I have it. And it sits to the right on my counter. The best place to store your perfumes is really in a drawer, oddly enough. I mean, they make these beautiful bottles, so we want to store them. We want to have them out. But really, the best place to store it is in a drawer. The last thing I would tell you, the 8th thing I would tell you about perfumes is the right distance. I know it's good sometimes for me to go in tight and go into my pulse points tight. Really, it's 6 to 8 inches. You want to spray your perfume 6 to 8 inches away from you, aiming at those pulse points for the longest lasting perfume smells. I don't use perfume probably more than 1 time a day. So I don't reapply it, but sometimes if we're going out to dinner and I showered in the morning and I'm just freshen up, you know, I'm doing kind of what we do, you shush your hair and then head out the door. Sometimes I'll give an extra squirt just to freshen it up. Always the same perfume though, because again, you don't want the chemicals to go back and forth. Which perfume hacks do you use? Drop a note below and let me know which perfume hacks work for you. What have you used in the past? Do any of the ones I talked about today resonate with you? Or are there other ones that I didn't think of? Drop a note below and let us know. If you like this video, watch this one next. How to stay sexy after 60.